Well, good morning. We're in Wood River, Nebraska. Heading for Windsor, Colorado. Sorry I had to blow my nose. And yes, I've cleaned this windshield off since yesterday. But I don't know, those are mutant bugs or something. I couldn't get them all off. I don't. Excuse me. Anyway, we're going to take off. It's about 4:30 in the morning. I got to Council Bluffs. I did a video, but I deleted it because I did a video going into the Tyson plant there in Council Bluffs, because it is a cluster of epic proportions. But I deleted it because there's a lot of dead air. I mean, I could have, I guess, taken the dead air out, but anyway, it's a long story. So anyway, I got that done, and I deadheaded to Grand Island, Nebraska. Picked this load up last night, and I only had about an hour and a half to drive, so ended up having to stop here 20 miles down the road from there. But that's alright, because I don't even know when it's supposed to deliver. This was supposed to have been picked up the day before yesterday. It was supposed to be delivered yesterday, so my guess is JBS was late getting it loaded, and so that's why we didn't pick it up till yesterday, because that's par for the course for JBS. Stop somewhere and get fuel. Not that I can get there with the fuel I've got in the truck, the reefer fuel. This thing's set at -10. And seeing as we're not having a winter time in the western half of the United States, it's going through it's not burning a lot of fuel, but it's 30 degrees, in central Nebraska in December, the last day of December. Up this morning. Had a hard time going to sleep last night. And I woke up, I don't know, probably an hour before my alarm went off. I hate that. See what happens today if I can get over to Greeley, switch trucks. That's kind of the plan. and I topped it off. And it's there's something wrong with this thing. But I mean, it's not. I've got coolant. I'm not going to worry about it. If you watch my last video, this was going on, and it was a little bit low this morning. I topped it off, but I don't like these new radiator setups on these 680 Kenworths. They've got they've got the tank in the middle of the firewall, and then they got a long hose with a spout on the end. So when you're trying to fill it up, that long hose gets full, and then it comes back out. So you got to wait for it to drain down into that tank. And I don't know why, for the life of me, they put it back there and not in the front over the engine fan like they used to be. It's just like, it's almost like Kenworth said, that works too well. Let's do it this way and make it worse. I do not understand truck manufacturers and car manufacturers. Yes, I'm going on a rant. I do not understand car and truck manufacturers who something is not broke, it's working, but they decide they're going to change it and make it worse. I don't get it. This is the first truck I've had with the coolant tank on the firewall behind the, at the back, on the firewall in the middle. It's a ridiculously stupid design considering your radiator's in the front. So all that coolant's got to travel down, and then it's got to travel down that long hose from where you fill it up. I guess because they're afraid some Nancy driver is afraid to climb up there and pour coolant in it. So they got this long spout where Nancy doesn't have to climb up there. You can just stand on the ground and do it. Well, that's great for Nancy. But for the rest of us out here, it's a pain. I'd rather climb up there and do it and have it. Anyway, I'm just saying. Stop trying to make things easier for the Nancys. And screw everybody else while you're doing it. I'm sure I've offended a bunch of people. I don't care. Look, let me tell you something. There are a lot of people out there, men and women. I've seen a lot of good female drivers. I've seen a fair amount of female drivers running the haul road. That do their job. There were a couple of them that were a little iffy, but then there were some men up there that were a little iffy as well. And there are women perfectly capable of climbing up on that steer tire and pouring coolant into the radiator. At least you think this is a gender thing. It's not. When I say Nancy, I mean Nancy, as in guys. The guys wearing their jogging outfit and their sandals, and no, that's not an ethnic thing either. They're lily white guys doing that. Who are afraid to get their hands dirty. They're all worried about safety. That's not safe. This is not safe. Safety first. No, safety third. Get the job done first. Because if you don't get the job done, safety is not going to matter. You're not going to have a job. That's something controversial, isn't it? Safety third. I don't care. I'm not saying don't be safe. I'm saying if you don't get the job done, if none of your drivers get the job done, then you don't have a company to be safe. So what's the point? You hear these companies, safety is our top priority. No, making a profit should be your top priority. Otherwise, you're not going to be in business very long. That's got to be your top priority. Making a profit. about safety. But if you're not in business, what does it matter if you're safe or not, right? You can go to all your employers, well, we're shutting down, we're not making a profit. But by God, we were safe while we were operating, but we're broke. Because we didn't care about making money, we cared about being safe. Dynamic Transport, there's a company that has fallen. I see he's running one of those 389 Peterbilts. He must have been with them for a long time. They're getting rid of all of those. And they're getting all, I think, those 579, which are not bad trucks, but they're all automatics that they're getting. Getting rid of their manual transmission trucks, going all automatic. Another company has given in to the steering wheel holders. They also slowed their trucks down to like 68 mile an hour or some god-awful speed like that. Yep, now the mighty have fallen. About it. This truck's up for sale, well, it's going to be up for sale. I'll let them know in the shop if they want to look it over and see, before they put it on the lot. Excuse me. See if it's some easy fix, quick fix or something. I think there's some warranty left on these trucks when they turn them in. Another video where it's dark. Although I heard some comments, people saying they like the overnight videos. I like running overnight, but here lately I've gotten this pattern of running in the daytime. Well, I say day, it's not daytime yet, but it's early morning. If I had to guess, I'm going to say after this, I'll get a load out of Greeley, out of JBS, going to South Sioux City, Nebraska. That's usually what happens. Although occasionally, dang it, I am sorry. They will deadhead us down to Holcomb, Kansas. Sorry, I don't know. I got a tickle in my throat or something. No, I don't smoke, so it's not that. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But if I get over to Greeley, I got to switch trucks. They really want me out of this truck so they can get it sold. My safety lady texted me yesterday about it. That's another thing. Safety people. How many times? I think I've talked about this. And again, I'm old, I'm sorry, I forget. How many times have you been going down the road and the safety department sends you a text and wants you to answer? Now, every major and minor, because we're not a huge trucking company, almost all of them have some sort of GPS on their trucks, right? Either on the truck itself or the ELD, they can go in there and see where the truck is, whatever. They know if you're going down the road or not. They know it. But what do? They don't call you because I've got Bluetooth, I'm hands-free. You can call me. No, texting and driving. Why are you texting me? Why? Can't you call me? Anyway, she sent me a text about, when are you getting to Greeley so you can get the new truck and blah blah and this and whatever. I'll be there tomorrow, I guess. We'll see what happens. I'm sure they'll want me to take this straight to the cold storage and not drop it at the yard, since it's already a day late. These little spots on the windshield, you can't hardly see them, but you can see them through the camera, especially when there's a car coming the other way. I didn't realize until I fired the camera. I was like, dang, you can still see those things. Anyway. On the road yesterday, but 'tis the season. Let me give you a little advice to the rookie drivers out there. The Christmas season, from Thanksgiving to New Year's, you will see some of the worst, most egregious driving by people in cars. I mean, it's really amazing as we're around, and whether you're a Christian or not doesn't matter. We can all agree that Jesus was a figure for love and forgiveness and this and that. So we get to that season of the birth of Jesus, and people just act like total jerks on the road. I mean, they really do. It's really, this is the worst time of year for people on the highway. They have some kind of idea, well, I'm on vacation, damn it, it's the holidays, and I can just treat people like total crap on the road. And they do. It's a bad time of year, and every year for 30 plus years, I've told myself I'm going to save some money and take a leave of absence from Thanksgiving to New Year's, and I never do it. Here we are, 30-something years later, and I'm still out here during the holiday seasons putting up with this crap. It just brings out the worst of me. It should do the opposite. But being as we're arrogant, narcissistic humans, this is how we act. Cops out. Well, around Lincoln, Nebraska, there was a lot of cops out yesterday. I guess they're gearing up for the holiday season. On today's New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year's to everyone. I'll either be spending it in Greeley, Colorado, or I'll be spending it on the road somewhere. So I may be up. Or maybe not. I don't go out and park. Well, I'm working anyway. But even if I weren't, I don't go out and party on New Year's anymore. Back see all these new faces in the bar of people out partying that you never see. The rest, it's like the gym, right? When I used to work out steady, after New Year's, I'd go in the gym, all of a sudden I said, where the hell are all these people coming from? There are people everywhere. And then by February, most of them were gone. One or two will be serious about it, you know, and they'll still be there, but most of them are gone. It's funny. It's really funny because when you hear about the New Year's resolution people, it's true. I'm telling you, man. I used to go to the gym 3 times a week when I worked for Dow Tile and I had a set route. And I'm telling you, man, the day after New Year's, I was home. I'd go into the gym and it's packed. And, you know, when you go to a gym regularly, any of you guys, you know, work out, you know just about everybody in there. I mean, you may not know them, but you know their face when you walk in, especially if it's a pretty small place. I mean, if you go to one of these giant corporate, like Planet Fitness or something, maybe not, but I used to go to Anytime Fitness, which is a big chain, I know, but they're small gyms. Right? I mean, they're not huge places. And you get to know the people. Like I say, you might not know their name, you might just say hi to them, but you get to know men, the women, all of them. The personal trainers in there. People know each other by face. And I go in there and boom, there's all these people, man. Most of them doing cardio. They're not about to touch those weights. And you're just like, wow. So, you know, it's true. People do this. First of the year, I'm getting into shape. That's right. But then they disappear. I don't know. It's funny, man. He's out early. That's those uniform people. Yeah, you know, the work uniforms and such. They start early. There's a lot of these business, vending, and you know, people do the vending machines and things like that. They'll start like 3:30, 4 in the morning. Of course, when I was a kid, it was the newspaper people, right? They'd start at like 2 a.m. I worked with this older lady one time because she was an old lady, and she was doing it for extra income, throwing newspapers, so I'd help her out. I used to get up at like 2 in the morning. And you'd go to this place, it was the Dallas Morning News, and we lived about 40 miles out of Dallas. So the truck would come and meet up. You'd meet up with the truck at this one location, all the little towns around there. And they'd drop everything off. And you had to put the newspapers together first. And then roll them up and put a rubber band or put them in a plastic thing if it was raining. And then you'd load them up in your car, and then you'd go out and start throwing them. And you get done, I don't know, well after daylight. But that was not an easy job. Not to mention his wear and tear on your vehicle. I'm not even going to sit here and tell you that it's profitable, or was profitable. I don't know if anybody does it anymore. Now, if you're a kid on a bicycle, yeah, it's probably profitable. But if you've got a car you've got to maintain, I don't even know if that's profitable, because you're really wearing a car out doing that kind of work. But a lot of people did it back in the day. That and delivering phone books. I remember seeing people delivering phone books. And they were usually in some old beater they were driving, you know. They're just trying to make a living or trying to make a little extra money. I think DoorDash and Uber and Lyft is probably more profitable. But those were side gigs back then. them side gigs. People call it just trying to survive, but that's what a side gig was back then. Throwing newspapers, delivering phone books, things like that. Time marches on, I guess. Was it better back then? I don't know. A lot of us older people like to think, yeah, things were a lot better back in the day. But I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. They were better in some ways. I mean, when you look at all the information you have on your phone, man, at your fingertips, we didn't have that. I mean, you think about this, you younger guys, and I've talked about this before. You get a job at a trucking company, not that awful long ago. Go through orientation, and they give you a truck to drive, $100,000 truck. They tell you to go pick up $1 million load with their $30,000 trailer, depending on what kind of trailer it is. And the only connection they have to you is if you call them once a day. Or they, back then even, they could get on a computer and find out where you got fuel at. But before that, they couldn't even do that much, right? You get back into the 60s and 70s, they couldn't even do that much. They just hoped you called them once a day. But that was it. We had to stop and call them once a day. There was no internet. There was no GPS. There was no. I remember working for a company, and the big thing was caller ID. You called in, they knew what city you were in. You couldn't lie to them. And they tell, oh yeah, we know now. We know when you call, boy, we know where you're at automatically. Wow. Boy, I mean, we're living in the space age, man. Caller ID. Back in the day, man, we just raw dogged the phone. You know, the phone rang, we just picked it up. We didn't know who the hell it was on the other. You pick up, hello. We had no idea. Could you imagine today, a 20-some-year-old, the phone rings? I mean, even me, the phone rings and I don't know who the hell it is, and I'm supposed to just answer it? Oh, hell, no, dog. That ain't happening, bro. But that's how we lived, that's how we rolled back in the day, man. The phone just rang, and you just picked it up. And it could be somebody legit. It could be a bill collector. It could be a telemarketer. It could be an obscene phone caller just wanting to breathe heavy in the phone. I don't know why. My mom used to get those calls like early in the morning. Like 6 a.m. she'd be up. The phone rings and it's some guy just breathing heavy in the phone or something. And she'd hang up. And I said, who's that? Oh, the obscene phone caller. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like, dude, what, have you been up all night doing this? But that's the way it was, man. Just raw dogging that phone, bro. But yeah, I mean, they just turned you loose in a truck and hoped you went where you were supposed to go. And that's how we rolled. And you went down the road and you tried to find a station on the radio to listen to. Or you put in a cassette tape, or a DVD player, or a DVD, or a CD. Not a DVD. Shouldn't be watching movies going down the road. That was it. At night, you try to find a powerful AM station and listen to Art Bell or something overnight. Listen to people talk about aliens and UFOs, things like that, or find one of these trucking channels. You know, the Midnight Cowboy, Bill Mack, or who's that guy, that trucking bozo guy? Where's he at? Cincinnati or somewhere? Or the Road Gang out in New Orleans. People like that. You did. Now you go on, YouTube Music and listen to whatever you want to listen to. Pandora, listen to whatever you want to listen to. You can find a podcast and listen to it. Whatever. As long as you got a cell phone signal. Even up there on the Dalton Highway in Alaska, as long as you had Starlink, you could listen to whatever you wanted to listen to. It was great, man. Well, it's great. It wasn't bad back then either, because we didn't know what we didn't have. We had no idea because it wasn't there yet. That'd be like asking some guy in the 1940s, "Hey, will you be glad when they invent power steering for trucks?" And he's gonna be like, "What the hell's power steering?" No, because I don't know what the hell it is. California at night, I'd listen to KFI out of Los Angeles till I got about El Paso, Texas, somewhere in there. And it'd start to kind of fade out, so I'd turn it on WBAP out of Dallas, or what is that, KOA, I think, out of Denver, one of those stations. Radio's about dead. I don't know. I hadn't listened to it in a long time. It's kind of sad. Get on here and start reminiscing about the old days. Started out on a rant, went to reminiscing. This business isn't what it used to be, that's for sure. The trucks are easier to drive. That doesn't make the job any easier or better. The pay's gone up. I mean, we can argue that the pay needs to be higher, that's fine, but the pay has gone up. The roads aren't really any better. In some cases they're worse. Every one of these interstates in the U.S. should have 3 lanes on them. Why we don't, I don't know. But that's a whole nother story. safer and easier, we get less skilled drivers. And we have more accidents. And the accident rate actually goes up as we get, quote, safer. We have more regulations. But you notice it didn't make the industry better. It's made it worse. And it's made it more dangerous. Because you cannot regulate your way into safety. I mean, you can to a point, right? You can put in speed laws. You can put in weight limits. Certain rudimentary regulations like that. But you cannot over-regulate your way into safety. You just make things worse. I was watching that movie Bullet the other day. Remember Bullet with Steve McQueen? And he's in that car chase. He's got that fastback Mustang and he's in a car chase with the bad guys. And it's one of the most iconic car chases in movies. And you watch that car chase, and of course none of that CGI, because there's no such thing. This is 1969. Excuse me. There's no CGI. You can do practical special effects, but there's no computer generated anything. So these are literal, real car chases. Granted, they're staged, but you know what I'm saying. And these are real cars, man. This is Detroit steel. This isn't plastic and fiberglass. These are real cars with big engines. Steve McQueen did his own stunt driving. And the stunt coordinator is driving the other car. And he's some guy with horn-rimmed glasses and a suit and tie on. And he's not even breaking a sweat. And you're thinking, that's when we were a proper country, man. Back then, when you had cars made out of metal, bumping into each other, you could do a high-speed chase through town. And I don't know, man. It's a different world. Was it better? In a lot of ways, no. In some ways, yes. Could you imagine you get some guy, I don't know, I'll say George Clooney, I don't know, Brad Pitiful, one of those guys. You're paying this fool $30 million to make a movie, and you're going to put him in a car and have him screaming through San Francisco or something in a chase? Hell no. I ain't doing that. Number one, that's not in my contract. Number two, I don't even drive. I have a chauffeur that takes me everywhere. And number three, the director is like, man, we're paying this guy $30 million. He's not going anywhere that's going to cause him any danger. We got a stunt double to do that. Or we're just going to do it all CGI. 70s. And there's part of the movie where this guy's going down the road in a big truck. In like a Freightliner, Kenworth or something, whatever. And he's driving down the road. He's got his left hand on the steering wheel. In his right hand, he's holding a beer. Right? The dude is holding... Bro, to you young people, yes, we used to go down the road in cars, trucks, whatever, drinking beer. Right? My dad didn't go anywhere unless he had a old Milwaukee squeezed between his legs. Right? That's where you put it. Unless you was fancy and had a cup holder. He didn't go anywhere without a cold beer. You know? You get in your car, you bring your beer, you pop a top, and you drink one while you're driving. That's what we did. Were there more DWIs back then? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, you had all these guys going up and down the highway with at least a buzz. In these big steel boats, man. These big road boats. These big ass cars. Excuse my language. Where your hood was in one county and your trunk was in the other. Drinking a cold beer. Dude, that was America, man. That's how we rolled. Was it good or bad? I'm not making that. I'm not saying it was good or bad. I'm just saying it was. You can decide in your own mind if you think it was right or wrong. I'm just saying it was. You know, we always look back at what the other generation had that we no longer have or we no longer can do. And by the way, we weren't wearing seatbelts. They had seatbelts, but we didn't wear them. My mom had a 65 Ford Falcon. It had seatbelts. We never used them. I doubt they were ever used. We died like proper men and women back then. You know, smashing your face on a metal dashboard. Because they were metal. The dash was metal. The steering wheel was usually some kind of composite, simply because you couldn't have a metal steering wheel because it would burn your hands off in the summertime. But that's how we rolled, man. Going down the road in our big metal car with the big V8 engine, sucking gas, man. With the carburetor just sucking gas. Drinking a cold beer. A cold Meisterbrow, or an old Milwaukee, or a Falstaff, or a Pabst Blue Ribbon, or a Jack's or a Dixie beer, whatever. That's what we did when I was a kid. We didn't go that crazy. We weren't letting 5-year-olds drink beer, or 10-year-olds. That's when we were a proper country. Was it right or wrong? There again, I'm not making that argument either way. It just was. Now, should you be going down the road, an 80,000-pound truck, drinking a beer? I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that. But when I saw that movie, this was years ago when I saw it, crap. It wasn't that awful long ago. Really. I mean, there are plenty of people still alive. When we were drinking a cold beer, going down the road in an 18-wheeler, man. The dude probably had a cooler, right, in the right seat over there. Oh, let me grab another, let me pop another top here. Yeah, I got me a good buzz. I guess I'll stop, take a nap or something. I mean, dude. I don't know, man. I'm sure I'll get some comments from people talking about how I'm trying to promote unsafe things. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just saying what is or what was. Nebraska. It's nice and flat across I-80, at least till you get out past Big Springs. As long as you're running along the Platte River here, it's pretty flat. At least the sun will be coming up behind me whenever it does start to come up. Storage up here is a drop and hook, so it's not a bad deal. We bring a lot of loads into this place, a lot of loads. About half the time we just drop them at the yard in Greeley and the local guys bring them over. Like I said, it's a day late, so nobody just had me go ahead and do it. Not a big deal. I think it's like 15 miles or something from our yard. Listening to this old guy when I was in Alaska. He was talking about how he used to run the Dalton Highway, excuse me, back in the 70s, you know, not long after they first opened it. And he was talking about, yeah, they didn't have a bridge across the Yukon River. He said in the summertime they had an airboat or a hovercraft, I mean. And they could load up so many trucks on the hovercraft, take you across, come back. He said in the wintertime, we drove over the river, over the frozen river. That's how you got across it. Once the river was frozen solid, you know. And he said, like ice cut, that hill, they had to drag you up with a dozer because it was so steep, you couldn't get up with the truck. So they drag you up one by one. Now, there's a nice bridge over the Yukon River. I've shown it in videos. And ice cut, while it is steep, it's easily doable, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of progress in the world, man. That's for the good, and I'm all for it in those respects. I mean, you know how many guys have died on that road? Guys died driving through the Rocky Mountains back in the 40s and 50s, you know, on back roads. I mean, you get out of Denver going west and it was just a back road going up over the mountains, probably a 2-lane road with a lot of tight switchbacks, back and forth, up and down through the mountains. It was probably a lot like running the Dalton Highway today. Here is Lexington, Nebraska. This is where they have a Tyson plant they're shutting down. I can see the smoke out there in the distance from it. So it isn't shut down yet, but it's supposed to shut down, I think, sometime in January. It's just the last day of the year. Wow. Tomorrow it will be 2026. If I'd have known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself. I really figured I'd be dead by now. I don't know. When you're a teenager in the 1980s, you know, 2026 seems like, you know, a lifetime away. You know, I was going to try to get here last night because there's a Walmart here in Lexington. You can actually park a truck in. I mean, they actually let you park. But I don't know. I'll just stop back there. This road got loud all of a sudden. That Tyson plant down there. There's a bunch of trucks parked in the Walmart now. They let you park back there in the back. At least that'll go on until some guy runs over somebody out there, or they hit something, hit a pole, knock a light pole over or something. Go back to Alaska or go back to oil field driving maybe. But I'm going to stay here for now because this is steady money. I said that yesterday. This is steady money. It's fairly easy money. About buying another truck, running it for about 3 years, paying it off, then selling it and retiring. Thought about it. Probably won't do it. Go Swift. Swifting down the road. I don't even know how long I'm going to be in Greeley. Anyway, I'll go ahead and end this. I've ranted all I can rant, reminisced all I can reminisce. I'll probably get some more, but I'll save it for another video. I got thousands and thousands of stories locked up in my brain from 30 plus years of pushing one of these trucks up and down the highway. I'll get them all out eventually. And I'll probably retell the same ones over and over. I don't know if I'm going to get fuel up here in North Platte or wait till I get to Brush, Colorado. I think I'll wait till I get to Brush, Colorado. Anyway, yeah, I'll go ahead and end it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time.